in order to stand up for a student from a poor background. My fiancée got into a fierce fight with her drunken father and gambling brother. Unfortunately, he was stabbed in both kidneys, leaving him in a life-threatening situation. In a moment of weakness, disregarding my parents' opposition, I donated a kidney to save him, pulling him back from the brink of death. But after he woke up, he started spreading rumors, saying that I had long known what kind of people the student's father and brother were. He watched coldly, making no effort to remind me, waiting until something happened to step in and save me, only to bind him with a single kidney, forcing him to distance himself from that poor student. He has hated me his entire life. I have always felt that my lowly kidney tainted him, as well as his love for that poor student. On his deathbed, he grasped my hand, looking at me with utter disdain, and said he would rather have died in that alley than live on with my kidney, and he never wanted to see my face again. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn on the day of his accident. This time, I quietly watched him charge out of the house with a baseball bat, looking like a warrior rushing in for love. I said nothing and didn't try to hold him back. In this life, I just want to fulfill my duties as a nurturing daughter. No longer saving him, no longer getting close to him, and no longer provoking him. Min, hurry. Go to the hospital with Mom. Mr. and Mrs. called to say Akin had an accident. Mom rushed into my room in a panic, her hands still shaking. I put down the book, glanced at her, and did not move. In my past life, when I heard this sentence, I ran out without even putting on my shoes properly. In this lifetime, I slowly put on my coat, zipped it up, and then followed her. The hospital corridor was lit with a harsh white light. Mr. and Mrs. Messier stood at the door of the operating room. Mrs. Messier's eyes were swollen from crying, and Mr. Messier was pacing back and forth, his suit wrinkled. As soon as my mom walked in, she rushed over. "Madam, how is Akin?" Mrs. Messier grabbed my mom's hand, her voice hoarse. "Both kidneys have been punctured," the doctor said. "Said the situation is very bad." I stood 2 steps away, not daring to approach. I could recite the course of events with my eyes closed. After the college entrance examination ended, Jiangji didn't get into university. Her alcoholic father and gambling brother had long decided to sell her off to the mountains in exchange for a bride price. Jiangji didn't dare to resist. She could only secretly wipe her tears at school, trying to garner sympathy wherever she could. Xie Yucheng always prided himself on being just, and he could not stand situations like this. Yet, he had an inexplicable protective desire for Jiangju, treating her as if she were a delicate white moonlight that needed to be cherished. Just moments ago, I was by my window at home, watching as Xie Yucheng stormed out of the Xie family door with a baseball bat in hand, looking furious, like a valiant knight rushing to defend his love and seek justice for Jiangju. A hero saving the beauty, with great fanfare. In my past life, I foolishly went after him to persuade him, telling him that Jiangzi's family was tyrannical and ruthless, not the kind of people who could be reasoned with, urging him not to meddle in unnecessary affairs. But he only found me petty, cold, and selfish, and even scolded me, the daughter of a maid, for not being worthy to meddle in his affairs with Jiangju. Then came the chaotic fight in the alley. Jiangji's drunken father, with bloodshot eyes, lunged at Xie Yucheng with a sharp weapon, stabbing him directly in the kidneys. He fell to the ground on the spot, blood staining the entire alley, his life hanging by a thread. I rushed to the emergency building of the city hospital with my mother, and from a distance, I saw Mr. and Mrs. Xie losing their usual composure, pacing back and forth in the corridor, their eyes red and frantic, at a loss for what to do. Sitting nearby was a frail figure, none other than Jiang Zhe. She wore a washed-out old dress, her hair a tousled mess, her eyes red and swollen from crying, her shoulders shaking, looking utterly pitiful, mumbling repeatedly, "I'm sorry. It's all my fault. If I hadn't told Chen, he wouldn't have gotten into trouble. And if anything happens to Aishan, I won't be able to live either. But I could see clearly that there wasn't an ounce of true guilt in her eyes. Only the feigned frailty and calculation she put on. She had long known that her father was a heavy drinker with a heavy hand, that her brother had never shaken off his gambling habit and would do anything when desperate. And she also knew her family intended to sell her off to the mountains. Yet throughout it all, she hadn't hinted a single word to Xie Yuchen, instead deliberately crying in front of him like a flower in the rain, insinuating that she was at her wit's end, just to lead Xie Yuchen to stand up for her. In my past life, I was deceived by her appearance, thinking she was truly weak and innocent. Even after Xie Yuchen's incident, I comforted her instead. But in the end, she and Xie Yuchen pushed all the blame onto me. Doctor, how is my son? Upon seeing the doctor who had just come out of the emergency room, Xie's mother immediately rushed over, her voice trembling. The doctor took off his mask, his expression serious. The patient's condition is critical. Both kidneys are ruptured, and he has lost too much blood. We must perform a kidney transplant immediately. Otherwise, he won't make it through the night. Please contact your relatives as soon as possible to check for matching kidney donors. The shorter the time, the greater the hope. Kidney transplant. Mother Xie felt weak and almost fell, while Father Xie quickly supported her, his voice hoarse. We need to contact someone right now. But how can a relative match be done so quickly? Doctor, no matter the cost, as long as it can save my son, we are willing. At that moment, Jiang Ji suddenly stood up, stumbling toward me, and with a loud thud, knelt down, holding my hand tightly, her tears falling even more fiercely. Min, I beg you, please save Ah Chen. You grew up with him since childhood. You two are so close. Only you can save him. If you donate a kidney to him, he will surely remember your kindness and repay you well in the future. Her hands were both icy and cold, yet surprisingly strong, with a hint of imperceptible pressure in her gaze. I pulled my hand back fiercely, my tone as cold as ice. If you care about him so much, why don't you donate? Zhang Sei's face drained of color in an instant, her crying becoming even more pitiful, her shoulders trembling even more vigorously. Mianian, I want to save him too. But my health is too poor. I've been malnourished since I was little, and the doctor said if I donate a kidney, I won't survive. You're different. You're healthy. And donating a kidney wouldn't be a problem for you. Besides, you're the daughter of the babysitter in the Xi family. Just consider it repaying the kindness they've shown you all these years. Can you do that? Once these words were spoken, the discussions around us grew louder. Mother Xie frowned and glanced at me, her tone clearly laced with disdain, yet tinged with a hint of pleading. Wen Mian, Ah Chen has always treated you well since you were little. Just do us this favor and donate a kidney to save him. As long as you're willing to donate, our Xie family will not treat you unfairly. We'll offer you money, arrange for a good school for you, and you and your mother will have a permanent place in the Xia family. Father Xie chimed in, his tone filled with condescending charity. That's right. As long as you save Ah Chen, we will agree to anything you ask. Don't be ungrateful. I looked at them, finding it both laughable and disgusting. In my past life, they were like this, simultaneously disdainful of my origins, while also taking it for granted that I should donate a kidney. And I, blinded by the years of gentle deception from Xie Yuchen, and tempted by their promises, foolishly donated a kidney, disregarding my mother's desperate pleas and my own health. I thought that by doing so, I could earn a hint of gratitude from Xie Yuchen and a modicum of recognition from the Xia family. But in the end, all I received was a deluge of slander and revulsion. When Xie Yuchen woke up, he hated me even more, despising the fact that my kidney had tainted him, resenting me for ruining his pure love with Jiang Ji, even if my health deteriorated because of donating a kidney. even if I quietly looked after him my whole life. He never gave me a kind look. In his final moments, holding my hand tightly, he disdainfully said that he would have rather died in that alley than live on my kidney. The pain and grievance pierced my heart like needles. In this lifetime, I will never make the same mistake again. I let out a cold laugh, looking at Mr. Paul and Mrs. and Feet One Xia, then glancing at Jiangju, who was still pretending to cry. I won't donate. My kidney is mine to keep. As for repaying the kindness of the Xie family for taking me in, my mother has been working like a horse at the Xie household all these years, doing laundry and cooking. Serving your family, she has long since paid that debt. Mrs. Xie's face darkened, ready to explode, when suddenly Mr. Brown Xie's phone rang. He picked up the phone, listened for a few moments, and the tense expression on his face instantly relaxed, revealing a look of ecstatic joy in his eyes. Great. Great. That's wonderful. We'll head over right now. Money isn't an issue, as long as we can arrange the surgery quickly. After hanging up, Father Xie excitedly said to Mother Xie, "We've found it. We've found a matching kidney donor. The hospital said someone is willing to donate. And as long as we pay enough money, they can arrange the surgery immediately." Mother Xie instantly went from tears to smiles, nodding repeatedly. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Ah Chen is saved. Jiang Ji's crying momentarily paused. A flicker of shock and unwillingness flashed in her eyes, but she quickly masked it and continued to feign relief, wiping her tears and saying, "That's great. Ah Chen is saved. I knew it. Good people are rewarded." I stood aside, coldly watching it all, feeling not a shred of turmoil within. I should have known long ago. The Xie family has plenty of money and connections, even without me. They could find a kidney source in the quickest time to save Xie Yuchen's life. In my past life, I was too foolish, too humble, thinking that only I could save him, believing that my sacrifices could earn a bit of genuine affection. Little did I know, in their eyes, I was merely a tool to be sacrificed at will. The surgery was quickly arranged, and Xie Yuchen was pushed into the operating room. Xie father and mother stood outside the operating room, their faces full of anticipation. Jiang Ji still squatted to the side, occasionally wiping a few tears, but her eyes kept darting towards Mr. and Mrs. Xie, perhaps calculating how to continue playing the victim once Xie Yuchen woke up, how to firmly capture Xie Yuchen's heart, and how to use Xie Yuchen's influence to escape from her unbearable family. I didn't look at her again, took my mother's hand, and found a chair in a corner to sit down. My mother lowered her voice, her face full of worry as she looked at me. "Mian Mian, how could you directly refuse Mr. Mantha and Mrs. just now? What if they get angry and kick us out?" I patted my mother's hand, my tone firm. "Mom, we don't owe them anything. Even if we're kicked out, we can still live well. In this lifetime, I will no longer allow myself to be wronged. Nor will I let you be wronged again." My mom looked at me, her eyes full of relief and a hint of heartache, and gently nodded. "All right. I'll listen to you." The surgery lasted a full 4 hours. When the doctor came out to say the operation was a success and that Xie Yuken was temporarily out of danger, Xie's parents embraced each other in tears, and Jiang Ji immediately rushed over, inquiring with great care and concern, displaying a tender demeanor. Just then, Xie's father's assistant hurried over, whispering a few words in Xie's father's ear. Xie's father's expression darkened instantly. His eyes filled with rage, and the look he cast at Jiang Ji turned icy. I know that they must have uncovered the truth about Xie Yucheng's injury, revealed that Jiang Ji had long known that her family intended to sell her off to the mountains, discovered that she deliberately failed to inform Xie Yucheng, and realized that she had intentionally led Xie Yucheng to stand up for her. Jiang Ji probably sensed that something was amiss. Her face turned pale as she cautiously looked at Uncle Xie. "Uncle, what's wrong? Is there something the matter with Ah Cheng?" Uncle Xie shot her a cold glance and questioned her about the sequence of events. Jiang Ji knew she could no longer hide the truth. She cried even harder, choking back her tears as she said she didn't know things would turn out like this. She pleaded that her father and brother didn't mean to, adding that as a girl, she was incapable of stopping them. Finally, she looked at Mr. Xie with tear-filled eyes and said, "Uncle, I know my family has made mistakes, and I am willing to repay Achin for the rest of my life." Mr. Arna's expression was cold and stern. He didn't explode in that moment, instead instructing someone to privately deal with the matters regarding Jiang Zi's father and brother. As for the specifics of how they were dealt with, I didn't ask and didn't care. I just wanted to wait for the surgical results and then go home to sleep. The surgery didn't finish until the early morning. The doctor said the operation went smoothly, and Xie Yuchun was temporarily out of danger. Needing to stay for continued observation, Mother Xie, with redrimmed eyes, thanked the doctor, while Father Xie stood in the corridor, letting out a deep sigh, as if lifting a heavy burden. My mom tugged at my hand. "Mian Mian. Let's go back. The doctor and his wife will keep watch." I stood up and followed my mom out. "Behind me!" Jiang Ji's voice called out. "Mian Mian Jia." I didn't turn around. This time, I had nothing to say to her. Xie Yuchen lay in the intensive care unit for 3 days before finally waking up. My mom and I still worked at the Xie family, but I never took the initiative to go to the hospital again. Even when Mother Xie asked me several times to deliver something, I would either send my mom or just leave it at the door and walk away. I didn't want to see Xie Yuchen again, didn't want to remember the grievances and pain from my past life, and certainly didn't want to have any ties with him anymore. But what was meant to come eventually did. That afternoon, I was helping to wash vegetables in the Xie family kitchen when Mother Xie suddenly rushed over, her tone slightly impatient. "Wen Mian, you need to come with me to the hospital. Achun has woken up and wants to see you." My hand paused for a moment, a flash of disdain surging within me, but I still nodded. All right. I knew that some things couldn't be avoided, so it was better to put an end to them sooner rather than later. Following Mrs. Xie to the hospital, I walked into the ward and saw Xie Yuchen leaning against the headboard. His face was still somewhat pale, but his eyes retained the same arrogance and aloofness as before. Jiang Ji sat by the bed, carefully feeding him water with a spoon, displaying a gentle and considerate demeanor. Upon seeing us enter, she immediately put on a sweet expression, saying, "Uncle and Auntie, you're here." Mother Xie nodded and walked to the side of the bed, asking with concern, "Achen, how are you feeling? Is there anywhere that's uncomfortable?" Xie Yuchen ignored Mother Xie, his gaze fixed directly on me, devoid of any gratitude, filled only with deep disdain and mockery. His tone was cold and biting. "So you finally decided to show up. Wen Mian, are you disappointed?" "Disappointed that I'm not like in my past life, unable to live on without your kidney." As soon as those words were spoken, the ward fell silent. Mother Xie was taken aback, looking at Xie Yuchen with a puzzled expression. "Achen, what are you talking about? What past life? Have you not fully woken up yet?" Jiang Ji also paused her movements, a hint of astonishment flashing in her eyes, but she quickly concealed it, lowering her head with an expression that suggested she did not dare to ask more. I was stunned all over, looking up at Xie Yucheng. My eyes filled with shock. He has also been reborn. He actually remembers everything from his past life. Do you remember how I donated my kidney to save him? How he slandered me? How he hated me for a lifetime? And the hurtful words he spoke on his deathbed? Yet in his eyes, there was not a trace of guilt, not a hint of apology, only disdain and mockery, as if the person I saved in a past life was not him at all. Xie Yucheng looked at my shocked expression, a cold smile curling at the corners of his mouth, his tone even more acerbic. "What?" Surprised. "Did you think you were the only one who could be reborn? Wen Mian." Don't think I don't know what's on your mind. He paused, the mockery in his gaze intensifying. In the last life, you deliberately didn't remind me what kind of people Jiangzi's family was. Watched me get into trouble, and then pretended to altruistically donate your kidney to save me. Didn't you just want to bind me with a kidney? Force me to break up with Jiangzhe and be with you. Do you think that without you I wouldn't be able to live? Do you think that as long as you donate a kidney, I would be grateful to you? That I would accept you? I'm telling you, it's impossible. Even without you. Our Xie family has plenty of money and connections, and we can still find kidney donors to save me. In my past life, I must have been blind to have been deceived by your false facade for so many years. To have let you tarnish my life with one kidney. Every sentence was like a sharp knife, piercing deeply into my heart. The grievances and pain of my past life surged into my heart in an instant. My eyes reddening immediately, but I bit my lip hard, refusing to let the tears fall. I looked at him and suddenly found it both ridiculous and tragic. After being reborn, he not only failed to reflect on his own mistakes and felt not an ounce of guilt, but instead turned the tables, shifting all the blame onto me, still believing that I was scheming against him, still despising me. Indeed, a selfish and self-serving person, no matter how many times they are reborn, remains selfish and self-serving. Xie Yuchen. I took a deep breath, my tone calm, with not a hint of emotion. My eyes devoid of the humility and admiration they once held, replaced only by cold detachment. You are too full of yourself. In my past life, I donated a kidney to save you. I was foolish, soft-hearted, and blind, mistaking fish eyes for pearls, misinterpreting your indifference as tenderness, and confusing your selfishness with deep affection. In this life, I will not make the same mistake again. I will not donate a kidney to save you. Nor will I think of entangling myself with you, whether you live or die. It has nothing to do with me. Don't think too highly of yourself. In my eyes, you are less than a stranger. After saying that, I turned to leave, not wanting to say another word to him or look at him again. Stop. Xie Yuchen suddenly reprimanded sharply, his tone brimming with anger. Wen Mian, do you dare to leave? Who do you think you are? Even if you don't donate a kidney, you can't get rid of me. You owe me from your past life, and you must repay it in this life. At that moment, Zhang Ji suddenly cried out, rushing to Xie Yuchen's bedside, gripping his hand tightly, tears streaming down her face. Akin, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Please don't be mad. Don't let it ruin your health. I know I shouldn't have kept it from you. I shouldn't have failed to remind you about my family. But I was really scared. I'm afraid that my dad and my brother will really sell me to the mountains. I'm afraid I won't be able to see you again. Ah Chen, please, let my dad and my brother go. They didn't mean it. They just lost their way for a moment. I swear, I will take good care of you from now on, treating you well for a lifetime, serving you like a horse. I just ask you not to hold them responsible. Okay, if I had known this would drag you into such a situation, I would rather have been sold to the mountains than let you suffer so much. She cried like a pear blossom in the rain, all pitiful and in unbearable pain, making anyone who saw her feel their heart soften. Xie Yuchan's initially angry gaze softened in an instant. He gently patted Zhang Ji's hand, his tone filled with tenderness and affection. Jizi, don't cry. It's not your fault. It's all my mistake. I didn't protect you well and let you suffer. After saying that, he suddenly turned his head to look at me. The rage in his eyes rekindled, his tone as harsh as it could be. Wen Mian, is it you? Did you tell my parents about the things Jizi kept from me? Did you talk badly about Jizi in front of my parents? Trying to drive a wedge between me and Jizi? You little snitch. Why are you so malicious? Jizi is already so pitiful, and you still want to target her. Can't you stand to see me treat Jizi well? Can't you stand to see her stay by my side? I stopped in my tracks, turned to look at him. My eyes filled with mockery. Xie Yu-chan, have you lost your mind? It's their own ability to uncover the truth. What does that have to do with me? I have nothing better to do than to stir up trouble between you and her. Can you stop being so selfish and double-standard? Jiang Ji deliberately didn't remind you, causing you to get hurt so badly. Not only do you not blame her, but you also protect her, pushing all the blame onto me. Xie Yuchen, you truly make me sick. You're talking nonsense. Xie Yuchen retorted sharply, his eyes filled with obsession. Ji didn't do it on purpose. She was just scared. She didn't do anything wrong. The wrong one is you, with your dark intentions. You're jealous of Ji. You were deliberately watching me get into trouble, hoping to take advantage of it to plot against me. At that moment, Xie's mother walked over, frowning as she said to Xie Yuchen, Akin, don't wrong Wen Mian. This matter has nothing to do with her. It was discovered by the assistant. And Wen Mian didn't say anything. Mom. Xie Yucheng looked at his mother in disbelief. Why are you still defending her? Don't you understand who she is? She's just the daughter of a scheming maid, intent on climbing into our Xie family and taking Jizi's place. I'm not defending her. I'm speaking the truth. Xie Mu's tone was also a bit impatient. Akin, wake up. Jiang Ji has indeed hidden many things from you. If it weren't for her, you wouldn't have gotten into trouble. Stop being so stubborn. I'm not being stubborn. Xie Yucheng was agitated, struggling to sit up, his face suddenly turning even paler. Mom, you're the one being deceived by her. Jizi is so fragile, so kind. How could she intentionally harm me? It must be Wen Mian. She must be the one scheming behind the scenes. As he spoke, he glared at me fiercely, the disgust and hatred in his gaze nearly spilling over. Jiang Zi leaned against Xie Yuchen, stealing a glance at me, with a triumphant smile flashing in her eyes, before continuing to cry. Akin, please don't be angry. Don't argue with Auntie. And don't hold a grudge against Mian Mian. It's all my fault. I'm the one in the wrong. The more she acted this way, the more heartbroken Xie Yuchen became, and the more he loathed me. He yelled at me. Wen Mian, get out. I never want to see you again. From now on, you are not allowed to appear in front of me or come near Ji. I looked at him, and the last remnant of hope in my heart was completely shattered. That's fine. This is fine. Cutting off all thoughts means there will be no further attachments in the future. I let out a cold laugh, no longer arguing with him, and turned to leave. The moment I stepped out of the hospital room, tears finally streamed down my face. Not out of sadness, not out of grievance, but out of relief that I had been reborn. Relief that I would not make the same mistakes again. Relief that in my past life, I had seen his true colors. In this life, I can protect myself well and won't have to suffer again. After Xie Yucheng was discharged from the hospital, he went straight back to the Xie family. He did not heed the advice of Mr. Tu and Mrs. Xie, but insisted on having Jiang Ji move into the Xie household, claiming he wanted her to take care of him closely and to make up for the grievances she had suffered. Although Mr. and Mrs. Xie were dissatisfied, they couldn't contend with Xie Yuchan's stubbornness and could only compromise, arranging a guest room for Jiang Ji and specifically instructing the household servants to take good care of her. After Jiang Ji moved into the Xi household, her true nature was completely exposed. On the surface, she still appeared weak and innocent, gentle and considerate, serving tea and taking care of Xie Yuchan's daily needs, being polite to my mom and me. However, behind the scenes, she targeted me at every turn, making things difficult for me at every opportunity. She knew that my mother and I were just the maids, and that Xie Yuchen despised me. So taking advantage of Xie Yuchen's affection, she trampled all over my dignity, treating me like her punching bag. That afternoon, I was cleaning the living room when Jiang Ji suddenly stepped out of the kitchen with a delicate porcelain bowl, deliberately bumping into me. With a clang, The porcelain bowl fell to the ground, shattering into pieces, and scalding soup splashed everywhere, hitting Jiangji's hand and instantly causing a blister. Jiangji let out an "ah," and tears fell immediately as she covered her hand, looking at me with an aggrieved expression. Mian, why are you so careless? Did you do it on purpose? Are you jealous that I can stay by Aiken's side? So you intentionally bumped into me and burned me. I was taken aback for a moment, looking at the shattered bowl on the ground, and then at the blister on Jiangzi's hand. Deep down, I knew she did it on purpose. She just wanted to frame me. In my past life, she had done something similar. But back then, I foolishly apologized to her and helped her tend to her wounds. Yet she turned around and slandered me in front of Xie Yucheng, claiming I deliberately bullied her. In this life, I would no longer be as foolish as I was in my past life. I did not apologize or explain. I simply looked at her coldly and said, I didn't intentionally bump into you. You carelessly ran into me. It has nothing to do with me. You're talking nonsense. Jiangji cried even harder, her voice rising slightly as she deliberately attracted Xie Yuchan's attention. It's all your fault. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous of how good Ah Chan is to me. So you want to take revenge and drive me away. At that moment, Xie Yuchan came down the stairs. Hearing Jiangzi's cries, he quickly walked over and pulled her into his arms, his tone filled with pain and anger. Ji, what happened? Why are you crying? Did she bully you? Leaning against Xie Yuchan, Jiangji pointed to the blisters on her hand and then at the broken bowl on the ground, sobbing as she said, Ah Chan, I just brought you soup, and Mian bumped into me on purpose, spilling the soup and burning my hand. She claimed it wasn't intentional. She's just jealous of me and wants to get back at me. Xie Yuchen followed Jiangzi's pointing direction, seeing the broken bowl on the ground and the blisters on her hand. His expression instantly turned icy, glaring at me with intense hostility, his tone extremely harsh. Wen Mian, how dare you bully Ji? Are you tired of living? I didn't bully her. She accidentally bumped into me, I explained calmly, without a hint of fear. Do you dare to quibble? Xie Yucheng roared, his eyes filled with disgust and disdain. Jizi is so gentle and kind. How could she possibly bump into you on purpose? It's clearly you with the dark thoughts. Jealous that Jizi can stay by my side. Jealous of how I treat her. And so you deliberately seek to retaliate against her. Wen Mian, you're just the daughter of a maid. You should consider your own status. How dare you be jealous of Jizi? How dare you bully Jizi? You and your mother have served as laborers in our house for so many years. We, the Xie family, have not treated you poorly. Yet you're still not satisfied. You want to sow discord between Jizi and me, and think you can bully Jizi. You truly don't know what's good for you. His words were like sharp knives, piercing deeply into my heart, and the surrounding servants all turned to look, their eyes reflecting sympathy, mockery, and even some who seemed to take joy in my misfortune. Hearing the commotion, my mother rushed out from the kitchen. Upon seeing this scene, her face turned pale instantly, and she hurriedly grabbed my hand, apologizing to Xie Yucheng and Jiangju. Sir, I'm so sorry. It's all Mian's fault. I didn't teach her well. I'll make her apologize to Miss Ji and atone for her mistakes. Saying this, my mother pulled my hand, urging me to bow and apologize. I forcefully shook off my mother's hand, looking firmly at Xie Yucheng. I did nothing wrong. I won't apologize. Minmin. My mom was almost in tears, speaking to me in a low voice. Just apologize, or else Mr. I and Mrs. will be angry, and we will really be kicked out. I looked at my mom's haggard appearance, feeling a twinge of sadness in my heart, but I still shook my head. Mom, I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize? She framed me on purpose, and Xie Yucheng scolded me without understanding the situation. Why should I apologize? Why should you? Xie Yucheng sneered, his tone filled with arrogance. Just because this is the Xie family. Just because I am Xie Yucheng. And you and your mom are our Xi family's maids. By your lowly status, you're not worthy to be compared with Zizi. Wenmian. I'm telling you. In this house, whatever Zizi says goes. If she says you bullied her, then you bullied her. If she claims you did it on purpose, then you did it on purpose. You better apologize to Zizi, or I'll make sure you and your mom are kicked out of the Xie family immediately, leaving you homeless. Zhang Ji leaned against Xie Yuchen, secretly glancing at me with a hint of smugness in her eyes, while pretending to be sincere as she said, "Ah Chen, don't be angry, and don't make things difficult for Mian Mian. Maybe she really didn't mean it. I'm fine. As long as she doesn't do it again in the future." "No way." Xie Yuchen spoke firmly. "She must apologize. If she bullies you, she has to say sorry. Otherwise, I won't let her off the hook." Seeing Xie Yuchen's stubborn and arrogant demeanor and Jiang Ji's insincere facade, the feelings of grievance and anger in my heart burst forth instantly. I lifted my head and stared directly at Xie Yuchen, my tone cold and firm. "I won't apologize. Even if you kick me and my mom out of the Xi family, I still won't apologize. At least I'm ambitious. At least I work hard. I achieved good results in the college entrance examination and got into a good university. I rely on my own efforts to seek a better life, unlike some people who only know how to act pitiful, who only know how to play the victim, who can only live off the sympathy and affection of others." What I meant was unmistakable. This was aimed at Zhang Ju. Zhang Ji's expression instantly turned ugly, tears streaming down her face again. She clutched Xie Yuchen's arm, saying pitifully, "Aishan, I didn't mean it. I'm not trying to act pitiful. I'm just so scared." Xie Yuchen's expression darkened, and he shouted at me angrily, "Wen Mian, shut up. What right do you have to talk about Zizi? You're just the daughter of a maid. Even if you get into college, it won't change your lowly origins. No matter how ambitious or hardworking you are, you can't compare to even a finger of Zizi. After you and your mother have been maids in our home for so many years, eating our food, wearing our clothes, and living in our house, do you think you're above others? Do you think you have the right to evaluate Zizi? I'm telling you, you're wrong. For your entire life, you'll only be a lowly maid's daughter. All you can do is serve the Xie family like a beast of burden, and watch me and Zizi be happy. You don't even have the right to feel jealousy." His words pierced my heart, completely trampling on my dignity and igniting the fury within me. I looked at him and suddenly laughed, so hard that tears almost came out. "Xie Yuchen, you're right. I am the daughter of a nanny. I come from a lowly background, but at least I have dignity. At least I know how to be grateful. And at least I won't be as selfish and double-faced as you. Nor will I be hypocritical and pretentious like Jiang Ju, plotting against others. Do you think you're something special? Do you think that because you're rich and powerful, you can trample on others' dignity at will? Do you think Jiang Ji really loves you? What she loves is nothing but your money. Nothing but the power of the Xie family." "Enough." Xie Yuchen interrupted me sharply, his eyes filled with rage. "Wen Mian, if you dare say one more word, I will break your legs." As he spoke, he started to walk toward me. My mother quickly stepped in front of me, pleading desperately to Xie Yuchen, "Sir, I beg you, don't hit Mian Mian. She's still young and doesn't understand. I'm begging you, let her go. We won't dare to do this again." Xie Yuchen looked at my mother, his eyes filled with impatience. Yet he still stopped and said coldly, "Considering how many years you've worked for the Xi family, I'll spare her this time. But I warn you, don't let her get close to Zizi again, and don't let her bully Zizi again. Otherwise, I will make both of you mother and daughter leave the Xie family immediately." After saying that, he wrapped his arm around Jiang Ji and turned to leave, casting a fierce glare at me as he did, the disgust and hatred in his eyes nearly consuming me. My mother turned around, holding me tightly. Tears couldn't help but fall. Mian, I'm so sorry. It's all because I'm useless. I couldn't protect you well. I leaned against my mother's embrace, tears also streaming down my face. Not out of fear, not out of grievance, but out of anger. Out of unwillingness, since Xia Yucheng was discharged from the hospital. He has treated Zhang Ji as a precious treasure, holding her delicately as if afraid she might break, cherishing her words, and complying with her every wish. Not only did he let Zhang Zhu move into the Xie family home, but he also had her share a room with him, without any hesitation. As if my mother, and the servants in the house didn't exist at all. Every morning, I had to go to their bedroom to clean up, tidying the mess left behind after their intimacy. Looking at the disheveled bedclothes and the scattered clothes on the floor, my heart stirred not one bit. All I felt was a profound sense of disgust. In my past life, I did the same thing. Back then, my heart was filled with jealousy and grievance. Watching their closeness felt like a knife twisting in my heart. Yet I could only endure in silence, sneaking away to cry. In this life, I have long let go of those so-called affections and obsessions, completely extinguished by Xie Yuchen's indifference and humiliation, and Zhang Ji's hypocrisy and scheming. I simply treat this as a job that allows my mother and me to survive. I do what I need to do, then leave immediately. Not looking, not listening, not asking. But Zhang Zhu, however, has no intention of letting me go. She just loves to see me in a disheveled state, full of grievances. She deliberately provokes me, intentionally stirs me up, enjoying the thrill of crushing me. That morning, as usual, I walked into their bedroom to clean. Zhang Ji was sitting on the edge of the bed, dressed in an exquisite silk lingerie, grooming herself in front of the mirror. Xie Yuchen was lying beside her, gazing tenderly at her, occasionally reaching out to caress her hair. His eyes filled with adoration. Seeing me enter, Zhang Ji curved the corner of her mouth into a smug smile, deliberately picking up her silk lingerie and waving it in front of me. Her tone filled with provocation. Mian, look, isn't this lingerie beautiful? It was bought for me by Akin. Very expensive. I heard it costs several thousand. She paused. The mockery in her gaze intensified as she deliberately leaned closer to me, lowering her voice to say, "You've probably never worn such nice lingerie, right? After all, you're just a maid's daughter, destined to wear those cheap, low-quality undergarments your whole life. How could you ever wear something so fine?" I didn't look at her or say anything. I merely lowered my head, silently tidying up, picking up the clothes from the floor and placing them in the laundry basket. I didn't want to argue with her. Didn't want her to feel that her provocations could affect me. Didn't want her to feel triumphant. However, Zhang Ji was relentless, walking in front of me and deliberately presenting the silk lingerie, her tone even more cutting. "What? Afraid to look? Are you jealous? Jealous that Aiken treats me so well? Jealous that I can wear such nice things? Jealous that I can stay by Aiken's side? When Mian, I'll tell you, it's useless to be jealous. Aiken loves me, not you. He will only be good to me, will only buy nice things for me. For your whole life, you will only be able to watch, only be able to envy, only be a maid that others can command." Xie Yuchen lay on the edge of the bed, watching Jiang Ji provoke me. Not only did he not stop her, but instead chuckled and said, "Jizi, don't tease her anymore. She's just a maid's daughter. How could she understand all this? It's pointless to say more to her, lest you lower your stature." His words seemed to be advising Zhang Ju, but in reality, they were humiliating me, telling Zhang Jie that I was not worthy to be mentioned in the same breath as her, not worth her time and energy to provoke. I clenched the rag in my hand, my nails digging deeply into my palm, causing me to tremble all over with pain. But I still held back, not lashing out, not retorting. I knew that I was not yet capable of standing up to them. I could only endure quietly, striving to get into university as soon as possible and leave this suffocating place. Jiangsu saw that I was silent and assumed I was so provoked by her that I was left speechless, which only made her feel more triumphant. She deliberately acted intimate with Xiaoyu-chan in front of me, sometimes leaning into his arms, sometimes kissing his cheek, and occasionally acting cute and playful, all while continuously uttering ambiguous words. The entire time, she was intentionally provoking me, flaunting Xiaoyu-chan's affection for her. Xiaoyu-chan cooperated perfectly, gently holding her and patiently comforting her, his eyes filled with adoration that seemed about to overflow, as if in the entire world there were only the two of them. I quietly finished cleaning, turned around, and left without looking at them more than once or listening to them any longer. But the more I did this, the more Zhang Ji pressed forward. That afternoon, I was in the kitchen helping with dinner when Zhang Ji suddenly walked up to me, holding her phone, and deliberately held the screen up to my eyes, smugly saying, "Mian Mian, look, this is my moments," and messages from the high school classmates group. Everyone is envious of me, saying that Akin treats me so well and that I'm so happy. I instinctively glanced at the phone screen. In her moments, there was a photo of Zhang Ji and Xie Yuchen. In the picture, Zhang Ji was nestled in Xie Yuken's arms, smiling blissfully, with the caption, "Thank you for protecting me at all costs. From now on, my whole life will be with you." Below, there were many comments, all blessings from high school classmates. Some even commented, expressing envy for Jiang Ji having a boyfriend like Xie Yuchen, someone willing to go to great lengths for her, saying they were a match made in heaven. In the high school classmates group, Jiang Zhu even covertly belittled me, posting, "Fortunately, I have Akin to protect me. Otherwise, I really don't know what I would do." Unlike some people, who clearly grew up with Akin but turned a blind eye when he was in trouble, even trying to take advantage of him. It's really disgusting. The people in the group immediately began to inquire. And although Jiang Ji did not explicitly say my name, everyone knew she was referring to me. Some people echoed in the group, saying I was deep-minded, that I was jealous of Jiang Ji, that I was unworthy to be friends with Xie Yuchen, while others claimed I was nothing but a servant eager to curry favor, deluding myself into thinking I could cling to the C family. Looking at those glaring comments and Jiang Ji's triumphant expression, I felt no sense of grievance, only a profound coldness. In my previous life, she did the same, slandering me in front of classmates, belittling me, turning me into the laughingstock of everyone, making it impossible for me to hold my head high among my peers. At that time, I would still feel sad, feel wronged, and would secretly hide away to cry. But now, I no longer care. I don't care how others see me or what they say about me. It has nothing to do with me. All I know is that I must get into college. I must leave this suffocating place with my mom. And I must live my life well, showing them that I can do just fine without them. I shot Zhang Ji a cold glance, said nothing, and turned back to continue cooking. Zhang Ji noticed that I still didn't respond and felt a bit disappointed. But she stubbornly continued, "Mian Mian, why aren't you talking? Are you feeling bad seeing everyone talk about you? Do you regret not donating a kidney to save Ah Chen at the time? Do you regret not trying hard enough to please Ah Chen? I'm telling you, it's too late to regret now. Ah Chen is mine, and everything belonging to the C family will be mine in the future. No matter how much you regret, you won't get anything. You'll just spend your life as a maid at someone's beck and call." I paused my actions, turned to look at her, and coldly replied, "Whether I regret or not has nothing to do with you. Don't be too smug. Fortune's turn. Everything you've done to me today will one day bite you back." With that, I no longer looked at her and continued cooking, letting her chatter on behind me, allowing her to keep provoking me. Jiang Ji saw that I finally spoke up, and with such a firm tone too, which made her a bit angry. Yet, she didn't dare to lose her temper and could only storm off in a huff. After she left, my mom walked over to my side and whispered, Mian, don't stoop to her level. She's just trying to provoke you. Let's endure this for now. Once you get into college, we'll leave here and never come back. I nodded, looked at my mom, and said firmly, Mom, I understand. I will work hard and make sure to take you away from here as soon as possible. From now on, we won't have to suffer these grievances anymore. Jiang Ji became increasingly proud and unruly at the Xie household, relying on Xie Yuqian's favor. She started to push her luck and made all sorts of unreasonable demands. Xie Yuqian would grant her every request, no matter how excessive, and regardless of how much Xie's father and mother opposed it. He would do everything in his power to satisfy her. That evening, as soon as Xie Yuqian got home from work, Jiang Ji immediately dashed over, clinging to his arm, acting cute and pouting with tearful eyes, saying, Ah, Chen, I beg you, let my dad and my brother come into the Xie family. They're homeless now and have to wander outside. It breaks my heart to see them like this. Xie Yuqian frowned, somewhat hesitant. GZ, you know your dad has a serious drinking problem. And your brother hasn't changed his gambling habits. Both of them have bad character, are lazy, and if we let them into the Xie family, it will definitely disturb our household. My parents wouldn't agree to it either. I know they're not good. Jiang Ji cried even more pitifully, clinging tightly to Xie Yuqian's arm and shaking it continuously. But they are my family. I can't just ignore them. Ah Chen, I swear I will discipline them well. Make them be better people. Make them stop drinking, stop gambling, and work properly at the Xie family without causing you any trouble or disturbing our household. Okay, please. Akin, just agree to me. If you don't, I'll have to wander out with them. I don't want to leave you. I want to be by your side always. As she cried and acted spoiled, her eyes were filled with plea, appearing utterly pitiable, enough to soften anyone's heart. Xie Yuqian hesitated for a moment, but upon seeing Jiang Ji's distressed state, his heart instantly melted. He could not bear to see Jiang Ji cry or suffer any injustice. He gently patted Jiang Ji's back, his tone filled with tenderness. All right, GZ. Stop crying. I agree. I'll bring your dad and your brother into the Xie family. But you have to promise me that you'll take good care of them. They can't cause trouble in the Xie family or disrupt its order. All right. I know. Jiang Ji immediately stopped crying, a smile spreading across her face as she quickly nodded. I will definitely discipline them well. I promise they won't trouble you or disturb the Xie family. Thank you. Akin, you're really wonderful. As she spoke, she stood on her tiptoes and kissed Xie Yuqian on the cheek, her face full of happiness and pride. Xie Yuqian held her close and smiled gently, completely forgetting Mr. Sun and Mrs. Company Xie's advice, forgetting the conduct of Jiang Ji's family, and forgetting what kind of trouble they would bring to the Xi family. The next day, Xie Yuqian sent someone to bring Jiang Ji's alcoholic father and gambling brother to the Xie household. Jiang Ji's father, Jiang Dehai, was a hulking figure with a face full of rough flesh, murky eyes, and always reeked of alcohol. His voice was coarse and gruff, exuding an air of bullying arrogance. Jiang Zi's younger brother, Jiang Kai, though young, was already burdened with a host of bad habits. His hair was dyed in a riot of colors, his body covered in random tattoos, and he spoke with a slur. His eyes were filled with greed and laziness, making it clear he was not a good person. As soon as the two of them stepped through the doors of the Xie family, they began to gawk around, their eyes brimming with greed. It was as if Lu Lao had entered the Grandview Garden, filled with curiosity and a strong sense of possessiveness toward everything in the Xie household. Jiang Dehai, upon seeing the luxurious decor of the Xie family, couldn't help but swallow hard and exclaimed, Wow! So this is the Xie family. It's truly extravagant. Even better than I imagined. GZ, you really are capable to live in such a nice place. Jiang Kai chimed in eagerly, his tone filled with envy and greed. Yeah, sis. The CA family is just too rich. Right. We won't have to wander anymore. We can really enjoy ourselves here. Zhang Ji looked at them, a smug smile spreading across her face. Yet she pretended to admonish them. Dad. Little brother. Keep it down. This is the Xie family. Not our home. We can't be so loud and disturb Ah Chen. Understood. Got it. Got it. Jiang Dahai waved his hand dismissively, saying casually, isn't it just about keeping it down? We understand. But GZ, don't worry. From now on, we'll rely on you. You need to make sure to please young Master Xie so he'll give us money, benefits, and let us live a good life too. Jiang Kai chimed in again. Yeah, sis. Young Master Xie is so rich. He definitely won't care about that little money. Just ask him for a bit more. Buy me a car. And give me some money to pay off my gambling debts. Okay. Jiang Ji nodded, her eyes filled with calculation. Don't worry. I will. As long as you all behave and don't cause trouble. I will certainly have Akin give you money and benefits. The three of them stood in the living room, talking as if no one else were around, their tone full of greed and scheming. Completely disregarding the rules of the Xia family. Completely ignoring me, my mother, and the servants in the house. Mr. and Mrs. Xie heard the noise and came out of the study. Upon seeing Jiang Dahai and Jiang Kai, their expressions instantly turned extremely grim. Mr. Xie frowned and, in a cold tone, said to Xie Yucheng, Akin, how could you really bring them in? Didn't I tell you that they are of bad character, lazy, and will disrupt the Xi family? Why won't you listen? Mother Xie joined in, full of discontent. Yes, Akin, just look at them. All their bad habits make it clear they are not good people. If we let them into the Xi family, we might as well forget about having peace in our home. Hurry up and send them away. Xie Yushen frowned, his tone somewhat impatient. Dad. Mom. GZ has already begged me. They are her family. I can't just ignore them. GZ has also promised me that she will discipline them properly so they learn to be good people. And they won't trouble us. Please don't oppose this. Give them a chance. All right. A chance. Father Xie sneered. People like them don't deserve a chance at all. Look at them. Just stepping into our home. They already have a greedy look. All they think about is money. Benefit show could they possibly behave? How could they not cause us trouble? Akin, wake up. Don't let Jiang Ji fool you any longer. She just wants to use your influence to bring her family into the Xie family, treating our house as her cash cow, making it a haven for her relatives. I didn't. Jiang Ji immediately burst into tears, throwing herself into Xie Yukin's arms, and said pitifully, Uncle and Aunt, I didn't lie to Akin. I really want my dad and my brother to behave well. I truly don't want to cause you any trouble. I beg you. Just give them a chance. Okay. Xie Yuchen held Jiang Ji and said to his parents, Dad, Mom, Ji has already said this, so please don't oppose it. Just give them a chance. If they really cause trouble, if they really don't listen, I'll send them away again. Okay. Xie's father and mother looked at Xie Yukin's stubborn expression and Jiang Ji's hypocritical demeanor, feeling a mix of helplessness and anger in their hearts. However, they couldn't go against Xie Yuchen and had to compromise. Xie's father cast a cold glance at Jiang Dahai and Jiang Kai, speaking in a serious tone. I can allow you to stay in the Ji family, but I warn you, while in the Xie family, you must follow the rules of the Xie family. No drinking, no gambling, no causing trouble, no squandering the wealth of the Xie family, and you must work diligently. If you dare to break the rules, if you dare to cause trouble, I will immediately throw you out and leave you homeless. Jiang Dahai quickly nodded, a fawning smile appearing on his face. I understand. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Force. Thank you, Mrs. Xie. We will definitely follow the rules, do our work well, and won't cause any trouble or add to your burdens. Jiang Kai also nodded, but his eyes were filled with disdain, completely dismissing Mr. Completely just words in his heart. Mr. Comperi completely interested and Mrs. Xie shook their heads helplessly, turned, and walked into the study, not wanting to look at them any longer. From that day on, Zhang Ji's family had truly settled into the Xi household. They completely disregarded Mr. Xie's words, failed to do their jobs properly, and instead treated the Xie family like a free haven, eating and living off them without restraint, showing utter disregard for the family's rules. Jiang Dahai drinks at home every day, getting utterly drunk, then going on a drunken rampage, insulting the servants, and even laying hands on my mother, acting with extreme arrogance. Jiang Kai spends every day neglecting his responsibilities, either sleeping soundly at home, going out to waste time, or gathering a group of good-for-nothing friends to come to the Xie household to play mahjong and gamble, causing chaos throughout the entire family, extravagantly squandering the Xie family's wealth, and using their possessions as collateral to pay off gambling debts. Jiang Ji not only ignores them, but also indulges them, even helping them extort money from Xie Yuchen and covering up their wrongdoings. Xie Yuchen would sometimes think they were being excessive and would scold them a few times. But as soon as Jiang Ji pouted or cried, his heart would soften, and he would no longer hold their faults against them. Instead, he would give them money to satisfy their demands. The Xie family had completely become a place of chaos, no longer possessing the tranquility and peace of old. My mother, the household servants, and I endured their anger every day, being scolded and made to suffer. Just a hint of dissatisfaction would draw their curses and beatings. My mother swallowed her resentment day after day, urging me to bear with it, saying that once my summer vacation ended and university began, we would leave this place. After the Jiang family moved into the Xie family's home, they showed no signs of behaving properly at all. From the bottom of their hearts, they never regarded me and my mother as normal people. They saw us merely as the old servants that came with the Xie household. All the dirty and tiring work was thrown at us on a daily basis. Washing clothes, cooking meals, serving tea, cleaning the entire villa, even the trash they carelessly discarded, and the dirty clothes they changed out of, had to be picked up by my mother and me. If something is not to their liking, they immediately resort to insults and difficulties. When Jiang Dahai gets drunk, he sprawls out wherever he pleases, vomiting filth everywhere, never cleaning it up himself, only yelling for my mom to come and tidy up, with a tone that is arrogant and devoid of any respect. Jiang Kai is even more arrogant, idling away his days, lounging on the living room sofa with his legs crossed, commanding me to fetch him water and snacks. And if I'm a moment late, he hurls sarcastic remarks at me, humiliating me for being the daughter of a maid. The Xie family's grand mansion has been turned into a chaotic mess by them, with no peaceful days to be had. Xie's parents watched it all with growing annoyance, but they couldn't stand up to Xie Yuchan's constant favoritism. Every time they tried to reprimand him, he would shield himself with Jiang Zi's soft-heartedness and pitiful demeanor. I silently suppressed all my grievances, waiting eagerly for the university to start, so I could finally take my mother away from this mess. The change came on an afternoon. Xie mother noticed that a valuable diamond necklace she usually wore was missing, and after searching every corner of her vanity in the bedroom, her expression darkened instantly. With no outsiders in and out of the house, the first suspect, of course, was the one with dirty hands, Jiang Kai. But before Mother Xie could start questioning, Jiang Zhu stepped forward, her eyes turning red as she instantly lashed out, splattering the dirty water onto me. In front of Father Xie, Mother Xie, and Xie Yuchen, she spoke up, looking wronged. Uncle and Aunt, could it be Wen Mian who took it? She's always been unhappy in her heart, jealous of me staying by Ah Chen's side, and envious of the jewelry that Madame wears. Maybe she secretly hid it when no one was paying attention. I looked up abruptly, unable to believe what I was hearing from Jiangju. How dare she frame me so brazenly? My mother immediately panicked, her face turning pale as she retorted. Miss Jiang, you can't just say whatever you want. Mian has grown up by my side since she was little. I taught her what is acceptable and what isn't. She would never steal the lady's things. That's not necessarily true. Jiangju's brother, Jiang Kai, leaned casually against the sofa, interjecting with a sardonic tone. You can know a person's face but not their heart. Some people, on the surface, seem honest. Yet who knows how greedy they may be inside. Auntie, your daughter can't even afford a few thousand yuan silk underwear. Seeing such an expensive diamond necklace, could she not be tempted? You're talking nonsense, I said, trembling with anger, my fingertips icy cold. I didn't take it. I've never even been in the ladies' dressing table. Didn't take it. Zhang Ji stepped in front of me, her eyes brimming with malice and glee. Then do you dare let us search your room? If we find it, what will you say? Search away. I stood tall, refusing to back down. I didn't take anything. I'm not afraid of a search. But if you don't find anything, you must apologize to me. Pimpy. Zhang Ji sneered, turning to look at Xie Yuchen, her tone softening again, tinged with a whimper. Ah Chen. Look at her. So brazen, even after doing something wrong. I simply have reasonable doubts. And she's acting so fierce. Xie Yuchen frowned, his gaze shifting back and forth between me and Jiang Ji, ultimately settling on me, his eyes openly filled with suspicion and annoyance. Did you take the warm blanket or not? He spoke, his tone icy and scrutinizing. If it was you, bring it out now and apologize. Considering your family has been associated with the Xi family for so many years, I won't pursue it. Those words felt like a bucket of ice-cold water poured over me from head to toe. He hadn't even bothered to ask questions clearly before he had already condemned me in his heart. I told you. I didn't take it. I looked at him, each word chilling me further. Xie Yucheng. This is how you see me, isn't it? Xie Yuchen pressed his lips together, remaining silent. But his expression already spoke volumes. Ah Chen. Zhang Ji grasped his arm, tears welling in her eyes. Forget it. Perhaps I misunderstood. It's just a necklace. If it's lost, it's lost. We shouldn't let this ruin our harmony. Her retreat only made my advances seem more aggressive. It can't just be forgotten. Jiang Kai suddenly jumped up, pointing a finger at my nose, cursing. I say she stole it. Playing the high and mighty. Sister, you're just too kind. Someone who has such dirty hands deserves a lesson. As he spoke, he unexpectedly rushed a few steps in front of me, raised his hand, and slapped me hard. Smack. The sharp sound of the slap echoed in the living room. My face burned with pain. My ears buzzed, and I was completely dazed. Staggering back a step. What are you doing? My mom yelled, rushing over to shield me behind her, glaring angrily at Jiang Kai. What right do you have to hit my daughter? Mr. Xie suddenly slammed the table and stood up, his face pale with anger. Stop it, Jiang Kai. Who gave you the permission to hit people in the Xi family? This family is not for you to act recklessly. Mrs. Xie was also trembling with rage, pointing at Jiang Kai. The sky has turned upside down. What kind of thing are you to dare hit my people in my house? Jiang Kai was startled by the fury of Mr. Sound. Xie. His arrogance diminished significantly, but he still refused to back down. I'm doing this for justice. Is she justified in stealing? What about the evidence? Mr. Xie questioned sharply. Without evidence, you're just slandering and intentionally hurting others. Jiang Kai was at a loss for words, his gaze evasively shifting towards Jiang Zhe. Jiang Zhe quickly stepped forward, pulling Jiang Kai, and with a smile towards Mr. Problem. Xie, she said. Uncle and aunt. I'm sorry. Xiao Kai is still young and doesn't understand. He's just too anxious. I apologize on his behalf. Young. Mrs. Xie laughed in anger. He's in his 20s and still young. I think he's quite bold. Xie Fu no longer looked at the Jiangji siblings, but turned instead to the silent Xie Yu Chen and asked in a deep voice. Ah Chen, what do you think about this? Do you believe the necklace was taken by Wen Mian? In an instant, everyone's gaze was focused on Xie Yu Chen. Zhang Ji looked at him, her eyes glistening with tears. Zhang Kai stiffened his neck, his face full of defiance. I covered my face, standing behind my mom, my heart already cold, holding no hope. Xie Yu Chen's gaze swept over Jiang Ji, then landed on my swollen face, pausing for a few seconds. I saw his Adam's apple move as if he wanted to say something. But in the end, he averted his gaze, his tone indifferent, tinged with a detached coldness. Dad, Mom, it's just a necklace. If it's lost, it's lost. Why make such a big fuss over it? Aunt Wen has been with the Z family for so many years. And while she may not have achievements, she has her share of hardships. Wen Mian, she might just be a little confused, attracted by something nice. Let the past be the past. And don't pursue it any further. He didn't say it was me who stole it, but his insinuations clearly indicated that he was convinced of my momentary confusion, lightly brushing over the accusation of theft with an air of condescension, as if he had bestowed upon me a tremendous grace. He didn't even rebuke Zhang Kai for hitting someone. A wave of chill rushed from the soles of my feet straight to the top of my head, and as I looked at him, I suddenly felt that the person in front of me was frighteningly unfamiliar. This is the person I risked my life to save in my previous life. This is the person I have cautiously liked for so many years. In his heart, I will always be lowly, always suspicious, always inferior to a drop of Jiang Ji's tear. A hint of pride quickly flashed in Jiang Ji's eyes, but she feigned sincerity as she said, Akin is right. Let it go. Let it go. We are all family here. No need to hurt the harmony. Mian. Xiao Kai was wrong to hit you. I apologize on his behalf. Don't take it to heart. Just be a little more careful in the future. I don't need your fake apology. I lowered my hands from my face, my cheeks swollen and red, but my gaze was clear and icy as I looked at Xie Yuchen and Jiang Zhu. I told you. I didn't steal. You can search my room. Search all my things. If you find nothing, I want all of you to apologize to me. Wen Mian. Xie Yuchen frowned, seemingly unhappy with my lack of gratitude. Enough. Ji is already backing down. What do you want? Do you have to make everyone look bad? Am I the one causing a scene? I laughed. And as I did, my eyes began to sting, but I held it back with all my strength. Xie Yuchen, it's you. It's all of you who are forcing me. I didn't steal the necklace. And I shouldn't have to take this slap. There must be an explanation for what happened today. Xie's father looked at my appearance, then at his impatient son and the smug Zhang Ji siblings, took a deep breath, and said to the butler, Old Wang, take someone to search Wen Mian and her mother's room carefully. Don't miss any corners. Remember, be thorough, and don't break anything. Yes, sir. The butler led 2 attendants upstairs. The waiting time felt exceptionally long. Jiang Ji nervously twisted her fingers, while Zhang Kai's gaze wandered. Xie Yucheng's face was dark and somber, lost in thought. About 20 minutes later, the butler came down, holding a velvet jewelry box. Sir, madam, we found this in the compartment of the nightstand drawer in the guest room, where Master Jiang Kai is staying. The butler opened the box, revealing the diamond necklace that Xie's mother had lost. Sparkling brightly, boom. The truth was revealed. Jiang Kai's face turned pale as paper in an instant. Jiang Shi was also stunned, suddenly looking at Jiang Kai, her eyes filled with shock, anger, and disbelief. Xie mother grabbed the necklace, her hands trembling with anger as she pointed at Jiang Kai. Good. Very good. You've stolen from your own host. And you dare to frame someone else. Jung Kai. What else do you have to say for yourself? I didn't. It wasn't me. It was. It was her. It was Wen Mian. She stole it and put it in my room to frame me. Jung Kai pointed at me in a panic, his words tumbling out haphazardly. Enough. Jay father shouted sharply, his gaze as sharp as a knife. Caught red-handed. And you still dare to argue? Do you think we are blind? Jiangzu. This is your well-disciplined younger brother. Jiang Ji trembled all over and hurriedly fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Uncle. Aunt. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I didn't discipline Xiao Kai well. He must have been momentarily bewitched. Please forgive him this time. I will definitely teach him a hard lesson when we get back. Aiken. Aiken. Please help me plead for him. She cried as she tugged at Xie Yu Cheng's pant leg. Xie Yu Cheng looked at Jiang Zhu, who was crying on the floor like a rain-soaked pear blossom. Then at his parents, whose faces were ashen. And finally at my swollen cheeks and cold gaze. He opened his mouth. But in the end, he simply rubbed his tired brows wearily. Dad. Mom. Let's forget about the things. Xiao Kai is still young and doesn't understand. From now on, let Ji take good care of him. Wen Mian. Does your face still hurt? Later. Have the steward bring some ointment. Let's just let this matter pass. It's like this again. Understated. As if Jiang Kai's stealing, framing, and hitting were just mistakes that could be brushed over with a simple childish behavior. As if the slap I received and the humiliation I suffered could be soothed away with a casual just get some ointment. The last flicker of a weak flame in my heart was completely extinguished. Has it pay? Said. I gently repeated these 3 words, my voice calm without a trace of fluctuation. Xie Yu Chen. Do you think that as long as Jiang Ji cries, everything can be forgotten? Do you believe that no matter how much injustice I suffer, it's all deserved? Xie Yu Ken's brows furrowed even tighter. Wen Mian. Don't be unreasonable. Ji Zi has already apologized. And Xiao Kai knows he was wrong. What more do you want? Do you really need to send him to the police station to be satisfied? Don't be excessive. Excessive. I almost laughed out loud, but tears surged uncontrollably, though I fought them back fiercely. Who exactly is being excessive? Xie Yu Chen. Has your heart become so biased? Enough. I don't want to argue with you. Xie Yu Chen waved his hand impatiently, as if to swat away something annoying. This matter ends here. Everyone disperse. He finished speaking, seeming to want to reach out and help Jiang Ju, who was still kneeling on the ground. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and when I opened them again, there was only cold resolve left in my gaze. Okay. That's enough. I turned around to look at my mom, who had been holding me tightly and whose face was covered in tears, and softly said, Mom. Let's go. My mom was taken aback. Leave. Where to? Leave the Xie family. I tightened my grip on her hand, my tone resolute. Quit. We're leaving right now. Wen Mian. Stop right there. Xie Yu Chen suddenly turned around, looking at me in disbelief. Leave the Xie family. Where can you go? Aunt Wen has been with the Xia family for decades. If you leave, how will you support yourselves? Don't be reckless. Reckless. I looked at him, suddenly finding it utterly ridiculous. Xie Yu Chen, do you think I'm being reckless? In your eyes. Am I supposed to endure everything forever? To bear your humiliations and slanders? To stay in the Xie family and watch you and Jiang Ji be in love, serving your whole family, including her thieving and violent brother? I am not a slave of the Xi family. Neither is my mother. I grabbed my mother's hand, straightened my back, no longer looking at Xie Yuken's suddenly grim face, nor at Jiang Ji's barely concealed delight, much less at Jiang Kai's resentful glare. I turned to Mr. Suspicion and Mrs. Xie, bowed deeply, and performed a profound bow. Mr. Xia, Mrs. Jia, thank you for the care you have given us over the years. From today, my mother and I officially resign and leave the CA family. The wages from these years have not been owed by the C family. We settle everything. I wish you all the best in the future. After saying that, I didn't linger any longer, pulling my slightly dazed mother along as I turned to head upstairs. Wen Min, stop right there, Xie Yucheng shouted angrily from behind. I didn't look back. Back in that cramped nanny room, my mother and I quickly packed up our pitiably small belongings. Actually, there isn't much to tidy up. Just a few old clothes that have faded from washing, my books, and that brand new college acceptance letter that I just received. I held the acceptance letter tightly to my chest, as if I were embracing all of my future and hopes. As I walked downstairs, Mr. and Mrs. Xie were still standing in the living room. Mr. Xie's expression was complicated, while Mrs. Xie seemed to want to say something, but ultimately just sighed. Jiang Ji nestled next to Xie Yuchen, a smile that couldn't be suppressed at the corners of her mouth. Xie Yuchen stared at me intensely, his eyes swirling with anger, confusion, and a hint of restlessness that I couldn't comprehend. Wen Mian, if you walk out this door now, don't even think about coming back. He gritted his teeth, his words still cutting. I didn't stop my steps, pulling my mother as I walked straight toward the door. Mian, Mian. My mother glanced back at the place she had lived for decades, her eyes reddening again. I held my mother's hand tightly and told her, we will have a new home. After leaving the Shi family, my mother and I used the little money we had saved over the years to rent a small, unsimple but clean room near the school. My mother quickly found a job as a stock clerk at a nearby supermarket. Although it was hard work, she no longer had to face other people's judgment. Life was frugal but steady. I worked at a restaurant during the day and seized the evenings to review my college courses. Busy and fulfilling days gradually allowed me to put the troubles of the Xie family behind me. Occasionally, I could catch glimpses of some excitement regarding the Xi family from the high school classmates group. At first, it was Jiang Ji who frequently posted on her moments. The background was always the luxurious living room, garden, or dressing room of the Xie family. The photos featured her selfies from various angles, sometimes smiling sweetly at the camera, sometimes showcasing her new dresses and bags, with captions that were always somewhat ambiguous. Thank fate for letting me meet the best you. The accompanying image is of a corner of the Xie family villa, with Xie Yuchen's limited edition watch displayed on the table. The feeling of being cherished is truly wonderful. The accompanying image is a close-up of her and Xie Yuchen holding hands, with a high-end restaurant in the background. Some people just can't stand seeing others do well. But that's okay. The better I do, the worse she feels. Right. This post has no accompanying image, but the implication is clear. Below are classmates' envious compliments and flattery, filled with jealousy and resentment. Gigi is so lucky. Xi Xiao really has no words for you. Wow. This bag must be a limited edition. I'm jealous. Some people must be regretting it to the bone. Ha ha. I know some people refers to me, but I just calmly paddled on, my heart undisturbed. Her show-off, her smugness, seemed to me like a jumping clown. However, the good times didn't last long. Before long, some different voices began to appear in the group. First, someone subtly complained about going to the Xie family's house to hang out with Jiang Zhu, saying the atmosphere there felt strange, as if there were more shady characters around, making a lot of noise. Next, a nanny from another family privately gossiped with my mom, saying that the Xie family had turned into a combination of a game room and a garbage dump, filled with smoke and chaos all day long. And Mr. and Mrs. Xie were rarely home due to their anger, while Xie Xiao always wore a gloomy expression. Later on, Jiang Ji's frequency of posting on social media significantly decreased. Even when she did post, it carried a sense of forced cheerfulness. Occasionally, in corners of her photos, One could spot discarded bottles or the silhouettes of Jiang Kai's friends with dyed blonde and green hair, slinging arms around each other. I can almost imagine the scene at the Xie household now. Jiang Dehai must be drinking even more recklessly, getting drunk and causing a scene, cursing and shouting. Jiang Kai has brought his group of rowdy friends into the house, turning the Xi family's living room into a gambling den, clamoring and smoking, creating a deafening din. Xie Yuchan enjoys peace and quiet, and with an injury that needs healing, he requires rest. In the past, when I was around, the house was always tidy and quiet. Now, I'm afraid he can't even sleep soundly. Sure enough, news began to spread gradually in the class group. I heard that Jiang Ji's younger brother is nothing less than a little hellion, opening up a gambling den at the Xia family, losing so badly that he cursed Jie Xiaoxiao. What's with all the arrogance, just because you have a little dirty money? One of your kidneys is gone. What a waste. Is it true? Can Xie Xiao really endure this? What can he do if he can't endure it? Jiang Ji will throw a fit and even threaten to hang herself. But I've heard that Xie Xiao has not been well lately, constantly going to the hospital for checkups, and his complexion is really poor. Jiang Zhu's dad isn't some easygoing person either. When he gets drunk, he even flirts with the new maid from the Xi family, scaring her to tears. My goodness. The Xie family was at least a respectable household. What has it become now? I looked at these scattered pieces of news, feeling a sense of calm inside. All of this is merely the consequence of what Xie Yucheng himself has sown. He has indulged Jiang Ji and her family, and now he must bear the backlash that comes from that indulgence. And evidently, Xie Yucheng's days are even harder than I had anticipated. Rejection reactions and after effects after kidney transplantation began to visit him frequently, amidst a chaotic schedule, a polluted environment, and a worsening mood. He needed regular checkups, had to take a large amount of anti-rejection medication, and required rest. But the Xi family had no moment of peace. Jiang Kai's friends didn't care whether he was resting. They still shouted loudly, slamming mahjong tiles with a thunderous clatter. Jiang Dehai would throw a tantrum when he got drunk, smashing things and cursing at people. At first, Jiang Ji would pretentiously try to manage him, but later she realized it was utterly impossible and grew too lazy to care. As long as Xie Yuken could still give her money, she was happy to enjoy her own carefree life. Xie Yuchen's irritation grew day by day. He started to feel impatient with Jiang Ji's coquettishness and was immensely annoyed by the noises from her family. Every time he was jolted awake from a dream with a splitting headache, surveying the disorderly mess of his home and smelling the stench of smoke and alcohol in the air, he couldn't help but reminisce about the past. He remembered when Wenmin was around. The house was always bright and tidy, quiet and comfortable. She could always take care of everything silently when he needed peace, and would quietly hand him a cup of warm water when he felt unwell. She never acted like Jiang Ju, who did nothing well except cry and ask for money. He even began to uncontrollably recall his past life. In his past life, he was seriously injured and bedridden, and Wen Min took care of him day and night without complaint, serving tea, bringing water, wiping his body, and giving massages. At that time, although he was annoyed with her, he had to admit that she took care of him quite properly. Unlike now, Jiang Zhu says she's taking care of him, yet she can't even remember what time he takes his medicine. And she constantly complains about the unpleasant smell of the hospital disinfectant. The stronger the contrast, the more the gap in his heart and the remorse would sprout like wild grass. But he was unwilling to admit it, especially not willing to admit that he might be wrong. He attributed all this restlessness to the incompetence of Jiang Ji's family and the noise of the environment, deliberately ignoring his own initial obstinacy and blindness. And Jiang Ji, after sensing Xie Yucheng's increasing indifference and irritation, not only did not restrain herself, but instead had other plans. She seemed to understand that Xie Yucheng's health had declined, and his temper had worsened. While the elder Xie couple was extremely dislikeful of her and her family, Xie Yucheng also seemed no longer as accommodating and submissive to her as before. She needed to find a way out for herself. So, taking advantage of living in the Xie household and using Xie Yucheng's supplementary card, she began to painstakingly craft her socialite persona online. Weibo. Moments. Xiaohongshu. Everywhere. She accidentally shares photos of luxury car steering wheels, designer goods, and high-end hotel afternoon teas. The captions are meticulously crafted Versailles literature. I'm so tired from shopping with my best friend today. But thankfully I have a driver to pick me up. My boyfriend insisted on giving me a ride. I told him not to. But he wouldn't listen. I just can't do anything about him. The truffles made by our new chef at home are pretty good. But I think the ones I had in France last time were more authentic. She's constructed an identity for herself as a wealthy young lady who has returned from studying abroad, surrounded by the exclusive affection of a domineering CEO, attracting a group of fans who envy her blessed life. Online, she is the Gardania goddess, surrounded by admirers. In reality, out of sight from Xie Yuchen, she began to extensively make friends online with various successful people using the money given to her by Xie Yuchen. Using a voice changer, she chatted with different men on voice chat software, using a sweet and delicate voice to act cute and ask for gifts. On social media, she maintained ambiguous conversations with several men at the same time, addressing them as brother or darling, sending slightly seductive selfies in exchange for red envelopes and money transfers. She even registered a secondary account to casually vent and complain about him in front of Xie Yuchen's former brothers. I'm so annoyed. That sickly thing always has a gloomy face. Just looking at him is nauseating. If it weren't for his family's money, who would be willing to take care of a useless person with only one kidney? Looks good, but is useless. Can't give me the happiness I want. And I have to pretend to comfort him every day. It's exhausting. My brother is the best. So handsome and knows how to sweet talk. And he's willing to spend money on me. That good for nothing went to the hospital again today. I reckon he won't last a few more years. I need to plan ahead and make some more money while I can. My brother is a constant worry too. Already in debt from gambling, what a nuisance. I have to scrape together some cash from that sickly one to patch up his holes. She navigated between the extremes of the online world and reality, extracting value from Xie Yuchen while using his money to pave her own way, searching for the next ATM, all the while continuing to support her parasitic family. She thought she had done it flawlessly. Little did she know that the gifts fate bestows have long been priced in the shadows. What she squandered was not only the wealth of the Xie family, but also the little remaining conscience and future she had, and Xie Yuchen, in the countless nights when he was awakened, faced Jiangzi's perfunctory concern and flickering gaze, when he felt unwell, yet received no genuine inquiries. That sense of freshness and filter born from the debt of saving his life and infatuation in youth finally faded away completely. All that remained was a profound sense of annoyance, exhaustion, and a nostalgia for the past that even he was reluctant to delve into. One sleepless night, disturbed by the sounds of mahjong and laughter from the neighbors, he inexplicably clicked on my WeChat profile. The chat history still lingered on the day he was filling out his college applications, where I told him, I hope we can go to the same university. But he never got into college. My relationship with him also came to a halt here. Xie Yuchan's regret came quicker than I had anticipated. Since my mother and I left the Xie family, it has completely become the world of Jiang Zi's family. Jiang Dehai spends his days drinking heavily. And when he's drunk, he lies in the living room, vomiting everywhere, smashing dishes and cups, and cursing profusely. The housekeeper could no longer endure the daily torment and the aftermath of chaos, and one after another, they resigned and left. The once spacious villa was no longer neat and tidy as it had been. Yang Kai became increasingly outrageous, turning the Xie family's living room into a private casino, dragging a group of shady friends to gather and gamble day in and day out. A group of people smoked and shouted, leaving cigarette butts and scraps all over the floor, breaking several antique pieces cherished by Mr. Rill. Yeah. While the valuable solid wood furniture was marred with burn marks from the glowing embers, Mr. Xie's blood pressure skyrocketed from anger, sending him to the hospital, while Mrs. Xie stayed by his side, unwilling to set foot back into that foul-smelling home even for a moment. Yet Xie Yucheng ultimately tasted the bitter fruit of his own stubborn protectiveness. He needed to rest and care for his kidneys after the surgery, taking medication on time, avoiding irritation, agitation, and noisy environments. But the Xie family now had no moment of peace from dawn till dusk. The crisp sounds of mahjong clashing late at night, the cheers and jeers of men, and Jiang Dehai's drunken roars always managed to rouse him from his dreams. Renal rejection reactions occurred frequently, with a heavy pain in the lower back and abdomen, accompanied by overall fatigue. Whenever his emotions ran high, he would feel short of breath and anxious. He had yelled at Jiang Zi more than once, telling her to take care of her father and brother, to keep herself in line and stop causing trouble. Every time, Jiang Zi resorted to her usual trick-scrying and acting cute, verbally agreeing to everything, but then turning around and still indulging her family's excesses. She had long grown tired of pretending to be caring. With Xie Yuchen feeling unwell and lying in bed, she only focused on her phone, scrolling through social media and flirting with strangers, even finding it troublesome and burdensome to remember to assist him with his medication or offer him a cup of warm water. In the quiet of the deep night, when the pain keeps me from sleeping, Xie Yucheng inevitably thinks of me. He remembers when I was still the daughter of a nanny at the Xi family, doing things quietly and diligently, keeping the villa spotless, never stirring up trouble, and never allowing anyone to run wild in the house. He recalls the time in our past life when he was critically injured and bedridden, when I disregarded my own health to donate a kidney to save him. And for years, I stayed by his bedside day and night, feeding him, wiping his body, massaging him, silently enduring his indifference, disdain, and the whispers of others, never voicing a single complaint. At that time, he only felt that my thoughts were profound and that I was deliberately tying him down, despising the fact that my kidney had sullied him, and he looked down on my background from the bottom of his heart. But now, compared to Jiang Zi's selfish and perfunctory attitude, only seeking money, and the greed and tyranny of the Jiang family, who suck people dry without restraint, Xie Yucheng suddenly woke up. It is clear who truly cared for him and who merely regarded him as an ATM. He began to regretting that he had indiscriminately slandered and humiliated me back then, regretting that even after his rebirth, he was still stubbornly partial to Jiang Zi, regretting watching me suffer grievances, being wronged and slapped, ultimately forced to leave the Xie family resolutely. This remorse piled up heavier and heavier, gnawing at his heart and mind. He could no longer endure the days without me, nor could he stand the facade of Jiang Zi's family. His heart held only one thought: to find me, to apologize, to seek my forgiveness, and to return to his side once more. Early on Saturday morning, regardless of his physical discomfort, Xie Yucheng forced himself to drive, taking a reluctant Jiang Zhu straight to my university. Deep down, he still carried the arrogance of a wealthy young master, unable to lower himself to meet my gaze alone, with Jiang Zi by his side. He seemed to want to display a nonchalant demeanor while subtly trying to draw a line with her, declaring his intention to choose anew. I had just finished class and was walking out of the teaching building beside my roommate when I spotted a familiar luxury car parked at the school gate from a distance. Xie Yuchen leaned against the car, his face pale and haggard, his figure noticeably thinner than before. His eyes were filled with gloom and exhaustion, yet he stared at me without blinking, his gaze complex, tinged with regret, obsession, and a hint of barely noticeable panic. Jiang Zhu stood beside him, dressed in brand-name clothes, her makeup exquisite, but her eyes concealed a strong sense of unease and hostility, as she fixed her gaze on my direction, her nails nearly digging into her palms. She understood Xie Yushen too well. During this time, Xie Yuchen had grown increasingly indifferent towards her, and his tolerance for her family had reached its limit. He often fell silent, lost in thought, his eyes vacant, clearly preoccupied with something far from her. Now, specifically coming to my university to find me. Jiang Ji instantaneously sensed the crisis. Xie Yuchen had changed his heart, and he had begun to think of Wen Mian. She absolutely could not lose the Xi family, nor could she afford to lose Xie Yuchen, this stable source of income. Her father was an alcoholic. Her younger brother was drowning in gambling debts, and all of it depended on her getting money from Xie Yuchen to fill the gaps. Once abandoned by him, she and the entire Jiang family would fall into despair. Thus, she refused to let go, showed no sign of retreat, but instead became increasingly crazed and obsessive, treating me as her greatest rival and threat, filled with suspicion and resentment. My roommate nudged my arm and curiously whispered, asking who he was. I shook my head lightly and said I didn't know him, not stopping my steps, intending to walk past them directly. But Xie Yuchen had already hurried over to me, blocking my way, his gaze locked tightly on me, his tone cautiously cautious, yet as assertive as ever. Wen Mian, I need to talk to you. Just take a moment of your time. I looked up at him, my eyes cold and distant, showing no sign of emotion. We have nothing to talk about. As soon as I finished speaking, I turned to avoid him, but Xie Yuchen reached out to stop me, his attitude softening considerably, carrying a hint of pleading. Just a few words, and I won't trouble you anymore. Don't be so dismissive. Jiang Ji quickly followed, putting on a facade of warmth and generosity, linking her arm with Xie Yuchen's. But the smile didn't reach her eyes. Mian, it's been a long time. We came specifically to see you. Don't be so cold. I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to her act, nor did I want to get entangled with them too much. But Xie Yuchen wouldn't let me go, insisting on having a private conversation with me, telling Jiang Ji to wait in the car first. Jiang Ji appeared compliant on the surface, yet deep down she seethed with hatred, staring intently at my retreating figure, her eyes swirling with wild schemes. In the following days, Xie Yuchen stood at the university gates every day, waiting to confront me after class, repeatedly apologizing and expressing his regret. He admitted that he had wronged me in his past life, acknowledged that after his rebirth, he had been blind and biased, that he should not have believed Jiang Ji's one-sided words, should not have casually defamed me or publicly humiliated me, and most importantly, should not have allowed the Jiang family to act recklessly while watching me suffer. He said he had long seen through Jiang Ji's true colors: hypocritical, selfish, and insatiably greedy, which couldn't compare to me in the slightest. He wanted to make it up to me, to get back together, to compensate me for all the grievances I suffered in this life and the last. From beginning to end, I had only one attitude: cold indifference, never responding, taking a detour to avoid him, giving him no chance to get close or confide. In my past life, I bared my soul only to earn scars and endless humiliation. After my rebirth, I just wanted to watch coldly and live a stable life. I had long lost any semblance of feelings for him. I no longer loved him, nor did I hate him. He was just an insignificant stranger to me. The more humble and entangled Xie Yucheng became in his pursuit of his wife, the more panicked and frantic Jiang Ji grew. She could see it clearly. Xie Yucheng's heart was gradually leaning toward me, while he was becoming increasingly perfunctory and distant with her. If this continued, she would eventually be completely abandoned. After much contemplation, an extremely shameless and absurd thought arose in her mind. She took the initiative to distance herself from Xie Yucheng, blocking my way on the path I had to take back to the dormitory, stopping me in my tracks. The weakness and grievances she once wore had vanished, replaced only by calculation and justification. She crossed her arms and looked down at me with an air of superiority. her tone perfectly composed and unapologetic. Wen Mian. I know Xiaoyu Cheng regrets his decision now. He can't let you go. And he is eager to get back together with you. I won't argue with you. It's unbecoming for both of us. Why don't we each take a step back? I'll take the primary position. And you can take the secondary one. And we can both stay by Xiaoyu Cheng's side together. You've liked him for so many years. And you've even donated a kidney to him. It's fated that you'll have ties with him in this lifetime. I'll stay in the Xie family managing household matters, stabilizing the older generation, while you accompany Xiaoyu Cheng to comfort his heart. We won't interfere with each other, and neither of us will have to feel wronged. This is good for all three of us. What do you think? Hearing such absurd and shameless words, I could only find it laughable and disgusting. I raised my eyes and coldly looked at her, my tone indifferent and mocking. You really overestimate your importance. First, I no longer like Xiaoyu Cheng, and I certainly despise sharing a man with you. Second, whether it's the Shi family or Xiaoyu Cheng, they are both things I've long since given up on. You can hold on to them as tightly as you want, but don't come to disgust me. Third, it's your business if you are willing to stay with a man who only sees you as an ATM and is filled with thoughts of someone else. Don't drag me into it. Jiang Zi's expression instantly darkened, and seeing that I didn't agree, her tone became sharp and obsessive. Wen Mian, don't be ungrateful. You are just a nanny's daughter. Being able to follow Xiaoyu Cheng and live a stable and prosperous life is already an enormous blessing. I am willing to let you be subordinate. It's a way of elevating you. If you insist on being so high and mighty, in the end, you will get nothing. Also, Xiaoyu Cheng is in poor health and needs someone to take care of him. Only you truly cared for him in your past life, and I can't be bothered to take the trouble to serve him. Our division of labor is just right. So don't turn down a toast and end up drinking a punishment instead. I couldn't be bothered to waste more words with her, and directly walked around her, leaving Jiang Ji standing there, her face pale, eyes filled with malice and resentment. The more she resented me, the tighter she clung to Xiaoyu Cheng as her lifeline, determined never to let go, even if it meant enduring oppression and sacrificing her pride. She could never allow me to take Xiaoyu Cheng away. Jiang Ji's crazy schemes had yet to succeed when her carefully crafted facade was thoroughly dismantled by Xiaoyu Chen. These days, Xiaoyu Chen was deeply focused on apologizing and repenting to me, often not at the Xie family home, and had no time to pay attention to Jiang Zi's whereabouts or phone. One time, his kidney pain flared up again, and he hurried back to the Xie home early to get some medicine. As he walked along the corridor on the second floor of the villa, he heard Jiang Ji hiding in a guest room, speaking coyly and flirtatiously on her phone. At first, Xiaoyu Chen thought it was just ordinary banter between close friends and didn't pay much attention. But the more he listened, the more off it felt. Jiang Zi's tone was coy and overly sweet, calling him brother dear with every word, her speech brimming with teasing and petulance. And she even secretly promised to meet in private and give gifts. What startled him even more was that Jiang Ji had been complaining to the other party about his physical shortcomings and gloomy disposition, mocking the strict rules of the Xi family, and lamenting how Mr. and Mrs. Xie looked down on her. She even candidly stated that she was only temporarily leeching off the Xi family for money, planning to leave as soon as she had enough capital. Xiaoyu Cheng's body stiffened, a chill rushing from his feet to the top of his head. He fought to suppress his anger, quietly edging closer to the door, peering through the crack to see Jiang Ji chatting away while striking sensual poses for the camera. She graciously accepted the hefty red envelope sent by the other party, a greedy and triumphant smile on her face. In the following days, Xiaoyu Cheng remained poker-faced, quietly observing and eventually uncovered all the truths. Jiang Zhu was not only flirting and engaging in online romances with multiple unfamiliar men to make money, but she had also secretly arranged meetings with her affair partners in real life, generously buying them gifts and transferring funds using the pocket money and secondary card limit provided by Xie Yucheng, clearly living off the Xie family's money to support her outside relationships. In addition, she still unconditionally subsidized her original family. Her brother had accrued a massive gambling debt, which she secretly took cash from the Xie family to cover without Xie Yucheng's knowledge. Her father squandered and drank every day, relying entirely on her to deceive and demand money from Xie Yucheng for all his expenses. All this time, the deep companionship and heartfelt devotion she spoke of were nothing but a performance. From beginning to end, she never loved the person of Xie Yuchen. She only loved the wealth of the Xie family and their high social status. She treated Xie Yuchen merely as a tool to support the family and extract resources at will. Xie Yuchen could no longer endure it. He burst through the door, slamming the phone chat records and transfer receipts in front of Jiang Zhu, his face pale, his body shaking with rage, his eyes filled with disappointment, anger, and the humiliation of being deceived. Jiang Zhu, what more is there to say? I've opened my heart to protect you, indulged your family, and granted you every request. Is this how you repay me? Behind my back, you're having affairs to make money, using my funds to support other men, and secretly subsidizing your insatiable family. Can you truly live with your conscience? Jiang Ji was instantly flustered, and after a brief moment of chaos, she decided to abandon all pretenses. No longer did she show herself as gentle and kind. Instead, her selfishness and coldness emerged from within. She tilted her head back, coldly laughing, not feeling the slightest bit of guilt, her words striking like knives at Xie Yucheng's pride. At this point, I won't pretend anymore. Xie Yucheng, did you really think I liked you? When you stood up for me and ended up with both kidneys pierced, I was grateful. But just look at you now. You're young but missing a kidney. Your body is falling apart. You're always in pain with a weak constitution. And your normal daily life is affected. You can't even be considered a healthy man. I'm still young. Am I supposed to spend my entire life with someone who is physically deficient and always sick? What about my future? My happiness? What's wrong with me finding someone else? What's wrong with me making some money? Moreover, it was you who insisted on rushing out to stand up for me, who willingly suffered injuries and donated a kidney to save my life. I didn't force you to do any of that. You chose to be the hero. So why should you expect me to be bound to your side for a lifetime, accompanying you through suffering and grievances? These words completely shattered Xie Yuchun's last obsession and favoritism. He had always believed that his sacrifices and health issues for love would earn him a hint of sincerity and gratitude from Jiang Zhu, only to realize in the end that to Jiang Zhu, his sacrifices were worthless, his physical ailments merely a source of disdain, and his efforts were simply taken for granted. Looking at the distorted, selfish, and cold-blooded face of Jiang Ji before him, he recalled his past life of suffering in silence after donating a kidney, being loathed by him for a lifetime. Compared to Jiang Ji's indifference and cruelty, he could only find it exceedingly ironic. All these years, the person he stubbornly favored, even going so far as to turn against his parents and ignoring the advice of others, turned out to be such a calculating, ungrateful, and utterly unscrupulous woman. Years of favoritism, protection, and tolerance had all become an enormous joke. Xie Yucheng felt completely disheartened, no longer having the slightest attachment. At that moment, he made up his mind to sever all ties with Jiang Zhu, kicking her and her family out of the Sei household, not wanting any connection with them ever again. Seeing this, Jiang Ji immediately put on a petulant and shameless demeanor, clinging tightly to Xie Yucheng and falsely claiming that she was pregnant, carrying the flesh and blood of the Xie family, using this to blackmail Xie Yucheng into taking responsibility, hoping to continue leveraging the child to benefit from the Xie family. She thought that with the excuse of being pregnant, Xie Yuchen and the Xia family would surely compromise out of embarrassment. However, Mr. and Mrs. Great Xie had long harbored a deep aversion towards Jiang Zi's family. Upon learning that she was using the child to blackmail them, they immediately called in a seasoned paternity expert, preparing to conduct an amniotic fluid test to thoroughly investigate the child's origins. Jiang Zhu was merely lying about the pregnancy and dared not undergo a professional assessment. The moment she heard about the paternity test, she instantly panicked, fearing that her lie would be exposed and the situation would become even more difficult to handle. That very night, she secretly packed her belongings and fled with her father and brother, never daring to return and entangle herself with the Xie family again. After driving Jiang Zhi's family away, the Xie family finally regained their previous peace, but the wealth at home had already been largely squandered by the three members of the Jiang family. Antiques, valuables, and many precious items had been sold off by Jiang Kai, leaving them severely depleted. Yet Xie Yuchen was thoroughly immersed in endless regret and obsession. It was only when he saw everyone's true colors that he understood that in this life and the last, the one who truly cared for him and gave without reservation was only me. He recalled how I suffered after donating a kidney in the previous life, often weak, afraid of the cold, unable to tire myself, yet still quietly caring for him until old age. He remembered how in this life I watched coldly from the sidelines, firmly refusing to repeat the past, and thought of the times I was humiliated, wronged, and slapped by him in Jiangxi, full of grievances yet never unreasonable. He began to frantically repent and make amends, waiting day after day at the entrance of my university, undeterred by wind or rain. He put aside all the pride of the young masters from wealthy families, waiting for me after class every day, holding various valuable gifts and tonics, repeatedly apologizing and admitting his mistakes. With red eyes, he told me that he finally realized his wrongs, that in my past life I lost a kidney and would have to endure the pain of illness for the rest of my life. That kind of pain must be hard to bear. It was his failure to appreciate and wantonly trample on my genuine feelings, and he was sorry for me. In front of everyone, he bowed his head, bending at the waist before the passing teachers and students to admit his faults, simply hoping I would calm down and give him a chance at redemption, willing to serve like a slave if necessary. But from beginning to end, I remained resolute, coldly indifferent, never softening, never looking back, and never forgiving. I devoted myself wholeheartedly to campus life, attending classes diligently and working during my spare time to enrich myself, staying away from all the people and matters of the Xi family, and having no unnecessary interactions with Xie Yuchen. I've had enough of the grievances from my past life. Having been reborn, I live only for myself and my mother, with no need to waste another moment or emotion on someone who doesn't know gratitude, is paranoid and selfish. As the days went by, everyone faced their own conclusions. Good and evil ultimately have their retribution. Fortunes shift with the seasons, and no one can escape the consequences of what they sow. After Jiangxi's family left the Xi family, they completely severed their economic ties. Jiang Kai's long-standing gambling addiction proved difficult to shake off. The immense gambling debts he owed erupted entirely, and he was cornered by debt collectors, evading them and hiding, wandering aimlessly each day. Jiang Dehai, without the financial support from the Xie family, continued to be a heavy drinker. Devoid of money, he drifted listlessly, leading a dismal life in his twilight years. Upon learning that Jiang Zhi had lost her affluent backing, her affair partner, burdened with his own troubles, decisively abandoned her, blocking all forms of contact and refusing to acknowledge her any longer. Her reputation was completely ruined. The persona of a socialite she had crafted online collapsed. Past scandals of flirtation, deception for money, and financial schemes were dragged into the light, leaving her utterly disgraced. No one was willing to help her, and she could only drift along with her father and younger brother, living in poverty and experiencing the harsh realities of life. After driving away Jiangzhou, Xie Yucheng was wholeheartedly determined to win me back, but I continued to reject him coldly, leaving him with no chance to get close. On the year I graduated from college, I successfully received a job offer from a well-known company and discussed moving to a new city with my mom to start a new life. On moving day, after packing the last box, my mom suddenly tugged at my hand, signaling me to look down. Downstairs by the streetlight, Xiaoyu Cheng stood there, holding a bouquet of flowers, still looking sickly. When he saw me, he opened his mouth as if to say something. But in the end, he said nothing. He just gently placed the flowers on the bench and slowly turned to leave. He walked slowly, his figure thin, his steps light, like a fallen leaf in the deep autumn. Later, it was said that Xie's company had suffered a massive financial blow. Mr. Xie had to exert himself greatly to stabilize things. Xie Yukin's health had never been good. His kidneys were in constant rejection, making him a frequent visitor to the hospital with no one to care for him, except for the nurses. As for the thorn in his heart, it could never be removed. In the years that followed, every time he was jolted awake in the middle of the night by agonizing pain in his waist and abdomen, he would involuntarily think back to the past. He had 2 chances to start over, yet both times he pushed away the only person who truly cared for him. And I will have no more Xiaoyu Ken in my remaining life, only a peaceful existence year after year, warming myself and savoring the good times. The end.